And we are live, people. We are live. We're on Sunny TV Arsenal. We're doing our thing. We're breaking news just coming in with the Premier League, where you have 6 players have what do you call it, become positive from COVID-19 after the first batch of results. And today you have 2 people on the panel. You have myself and Sam Greenwood. How's it going, Sam?
Hi, the kid. How you doing? Hi, everyone in the comments. Nice to see you all.
Yeah, so I don't know where to begin, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to give you guys a synopsis of what we're going to be talking about today. You guys let us know what you guys think in the comment section. How's everyone doing today? We got some people already in the comments saying hi, talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, talking about some other stuff. The June start. Guys, it is kind of looking highly unlikely. We don't know what's going to happen. Can you see the comments there on your end, Sam?
Yeah, I can see them. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So let's begin with the screen share of the breaking news. And cue the music. 1 second. I'm going to get this up. You guys can see this. Where is it? You guys can see this? COVID-19. Premier League. Breaking news. 6 players have tested positive for coronavirus from across 3 clubs in the Premier League. Surely this is a big issue for the Premier League, and they don't know what they're going to do on their end. But all we know is, as of right now, there has been 6 players that have tested positive. And don't forget, guys, this is breaking news. And the other topic that we're going to be discussing on breaking news today is Saka. And if you guys can see what happened with Saka is Saka has already put out an interesting message from the from the Instagram account today, hinting that he might have already started this signing process, and they might have already started to sign him. So we don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see. But one thing we do know is what's going on right now is making football look highly unlikely to come back sooner than later, because we want Premier League football back. We want our players back. But when you got guys testing positive, and Arteta and Callum Hudson-Odoi and all these other guys having their issues, in addition to new batch of players tested positive, in addition to Troy Deeney and his issues of what he said on Good Morning Britain, we know that this is a big deal. Sam, what do you think about this whole issue, the 6 players testing positive?
Well, I'll tell you, I think it's expected because it's the first round of testing now before the players are going to go into training now, before the continuation of the season. So this is expected. I mean, there's loads of guys now who haven't been tested before. So this is now we find out who has it, who hasn't. And then, of course, it's alarming right now. We're all thinking, wow, that's terrible and everything. But you've got to remember, the league's not planned to start until the middle of June. And these guys are going to be taken, really good care of. And I think by that time, it's not really going to be that much of an issue.
Nitish, by then. I sent you the link. Check the Twitter group. I've messaged you in the Twitter group. Okay, continue.
Yeah, so I'm thinking by the time of mid-June, this is not really going to be much of an issue anymore. The players then will be, they'll be hopefully healthy again and everything, and everybody tested with this is the first round of testing. So, of course, we're going to have positive results. There's going to be a few players who have positive results because they're going to be starting training now. And so this is the start point, and then mid-June is when they want to kick off. And by then, that's where we have to see what things look like. But listen, the football's going to come back. The Premier League's going to come back because it's all about show me the money. There's so much money involved and legal issues. It's coming. It's the Bundesliga started. The Premier League's going to start. Okay, that's what's going to happen.
Okay, where do I begin? What do you think is going to happen with the 13th of? Forget about 13th. What is going to happen with the 6 players that have been? Are they going to be quarantined on their own, or is the whole entire team going to have to be quarantined?
What they're going to do is they're going to do tracing. They're going to figure out now, who they've been in contact with. They're going to have to do that whole thing, and then the people. Then they've been in contact with. They're going to have to go into quarantine, aren't they, for 2 weeks?
1 second. Let me bring Nitish into the fold, guys. Nitish is in the fold. Sorry, guys, I can't read all the comments. Let me just read this comment while I bring in Nitish. Hi, Nitish. How's everything? We got someone saying, "Hey kid, I'd prefer if the league was voided, maybe start a new season due to the coronavirus, and do what Scotland did and give Liverpool the title." Natish, you have heard the crazy stuff. Let me just show you again what's happened. Breaking news: 6 players have tested positive due to COVID-19. And what do you think? Do you think the season should be voided, like Lockdown Tower Radio has said, or do you think they're going to keep going on? What's going on, man? Nitish, how you doing? What's going on?
I think I was the first one to just say that it won't happen. It's not going to happen. Yeah, as I said, I was the first one to say that it's not going to happen. It's not coming back anytime soon. And that is exactly what seems to be the case now. They were just trying to give us hopes that we'll bring back football because the Bundesliga was coming back. But every country has a different scenario and a different situation. You can't say that because the Bundesliga is coming back that football can be brought back in every country. England has a different situation. The situation is worse in England, and that is what exactly is coming out now.
Yeah. With what happened with Boris Johnson not being clear, Danny Rose saying I don't give an F, Troy Deeney saying what do you call it? My son has issues. I'm not going to be coming to training. In addition to even some of the other players saying we're human, we're just human beings. Like these guys are saying all the right things when it comes from player side, but nobody at the top is telling us anything. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that is exactly the thing. And when the top officials, including Boris Johnson and Prince Charles himself, were infected, how can a country go back and take it so casually that we will restart football, where a lot of people being actively involved, and it is a contact sport. It's not as if you're playing volleyball or something on two sides of a net where generally people don't need to come in contact with each other. Even in volleyball, that is not totally possible. Or it's not a sport like tennis where two players are standing on two ends of the court, and the game is being played. So it is a totally contact sport, and in such a case, how can you play it without players coming in contact with each other? And if one player is infected or starts showing symptoms, it could be transmitted to the entire teams. And then if two teams are out of the league, there's no sense in starting the league anyways.
Come on, guys.
Imagine if we start the league and Aubameyang gets COVID and he can't play for the next 2 weeks, and we lose all our games because 4 games are going to be played in 2 weeks.
They're going to do everything they can to get this league started. They haven't cancelled it. If they wanted to cancel it, they would have cancelled it. They're not going to cancel it. They've just started to do all the testing now on all the players now because the training is coming back now. So this is a perfectly normal, expected. This is what we expected. When all the players are going to get tested, some of them are going to be positive. The difference is you've got to think the league is not going to start now. They're going to try and start it mid-June or maybe towards the end of June. It's not now. It's not going to start tomorrow. It's not going to start this afternoon or tonight. You guys got to think things in perspective. Another thing is another thing you got to think of is it doesn't matter about Prince Charles or whatever. I mean, you're talking about the past. Yes, the virus has been here. Things are changing now. The virus is becoming less and less. Listen, if the government says it's okay to do this, which they've already said so far for training, it's okay to do, and they find it safe enough to start this league, they decide it's safe enough to start the league, and then the Premier League, the FA and everything signs off on that, it's going to happen. There's so much money involved in this. They're going to wait until the absolute last second they can until they make that decision, and they will.
Okay. Okay, let's get into the next topic, guys. And sorry for cutting you off, Sam, earlier.
That's okay.
The comment section noticed. I didn't even notice. I was kind of
big up to everyone in the comment section. We've got a lot of action there today. Good to see all the new guys.
Are we going to be seeing these balls out sooner than later? Because they have already started training. We're going to just talk about they have started training. And how long do you think they need to train before they can actually start playing? Guys, let me know what you think.
Well, I mean, I think you need at least a good three weeks at least of real proper conditioning training, fitness training, and building up with playing 5-a-side, etc. You got to build. It takes at least 2 to 3 weeks to get some level of fitness to play a match, and even then you're not going to be 100% match fit. I mean, it takes longer than that to really get match fit. Of course, you have to play matches to get match fit, but I think in about 3 weeks these guys could be ready to to play a game, and then of course it's going to take a few games for them to get fully match fit. Just think of it as like starting the pre-season. That's what this looks like.
Okay. What about yourself, Nitish?
I think with respect to Arsenal, I would at least give them a month before we start off any kind of game so that they can find some form. And we have already seen that we have a lot of injury problems. So we need to ensure that every player is at least a 95 to 99% fit so that there are minimum injuries, because we can't afford to take any more injuries. And we have certain other issues as well to resolve, like the contracts and stuff. So I would at least give these guys at least a month before we actually start off the season, so that none of our players get injured. Because if suppose a player like Aubameyang or Lacazette or Martinelli gets injured, our goals may not even come up after. Even there may be no goals from Arsenal if once the season resumes. And our main aim or motive at this point of time is finishing in the top 4 or top 5. If we don't get goals from these guys, then how will we do that? And what's the point of resuming the season if we are not going to play our full team?
Yeah. Man, honestly, it's just depressing when you think about it, right? Let's move on. With players already coming off having COVID and manager like Arteta coming off COVID and clubs like Bournemouth and stuff like that, they're gonna be suffering the most. I know Arsenal's suffering, but a lot of these smaller clubs are going to be suffering. Is it worth the suffering to produce a product with no fans just to get the season over with, and maybe or will the tests that they will have to provide alone basically waste so much money, so much of the money that they're trying to make anyways? So is it worth it if they're going to be testing all these players, if they're going to be doing all these things, and is it even worth it anymore?
Well, of course they have to do all the testing and everything, don't they? They have to make sure everyone's safe. They have to keep risk as low as possible. They have to do everything they can within their power and within the measures possible to make sure people can play football in a safer way as possible. But I mean, if you're talking about, you're not going to take any risk whatsoever. You're just going to try and keep things, you're going to null and void everything, and you're going to do that. How long is that going to? Are you going to do that next season as well? I mean, if we get a second wave or whatever, we're going to do that next season as well. I mean, you're looking at there's going to be loads of clubs who are not going to be able to continue. I mean, we're going to have loads of clubs going bankrupt, and then what's going to happen to football? I mean, that's the end product of it. Is we're going to have a sport that's going to have hardly any clubs left in it.
That's just sad to hear. Imagine if those smaller clubs like the Plymouth Argyles or the what do you call it, Donchester and the Borough.
Should I give you an interesting stat that I heard on Sky Sports not long ago?
Yeah, definitely.
This is a very interesting stat. Okay, so out of the 92 clubs that are considered league clubs that get money from the FA, league system, right?
Yeah.
Out of those 92 clubs, right, how many do you think actually turned in a profit the last 3 years?
I would probably say like a handful, like 5.
Okay, you're actually really okay. That's a low number, but there's actually only 18. There's only 18 clubs that during the last 3 years have turned a profit out of those 92 clubs. So football's already not in a good state. And you could just imagine going forward with this if we don't play football and the broadcasting money doesn't come in. So,
Guys,
what happens?
The money lost alone is going to scare these guys. But let's just hear what this comment says. Robin says, void it, start a new season again in August. We can't wait forever. The second wave is coming. We need to come and do something. Nitish, can you hear me there?
Yes, I can.
Okay, what do you think? I know you said void the season, start again.
Yeah.
If we void the season, what is your solution? Like,
see what this is a very rude opinion but I want to express it anyways. I think these guys are actually waiting for some casualty to happen with the COVID going around. Until the time there is no casualty and everything is fine, there may be a few players who are testing positive, but they're not going to stop unless there is something catastrophic happening, like maybe a player dying or something. I think they're not even bothered about the players' lives. So that is how it is. They're just bothered about the money. The clubs don't want to lose the money. The FA doesn't want to lose any more money. They know that they're in a tight situation, so they are just risking everything and they're just trying to get the league started again. So unless there is some kind of casualty on a pitch or someone really suffers a lot, they're not going to bother about it. So that is about it.
That's
And yeah, even if this season is voided, I don't think there will be a possibility of starting the season till the end of this year at least, because
that is
the
depressing, my friend. That is
yeah, because
depressing.
the situation, if you have seen in countries like China and South Korea, the virus has resurrected again. It was eliminated. The people were cured of it, but it's come back again. There's been a revamp of the disease, or I can't find the right word for it, but it's come back again. That is what I'm trying to say. And if that happens in England again, then that will be a big problem.
Yeah, that definitely will be a big issue. Sam, with COVID being such a serious thing, do you think they're taking it serious enough? Because Nitish basically is saying they're not taking it serious enough.
Well, it depends on. I mean, if the only way you think taking it serious enough is just saying we're not going to play football again until we've got a vaccine, then I mean, I can counter that by saying, well, even with a vaccine, not everyone's safe. So I mean, you got at some point you've got to be able to play with some level of risk. And now the government officials, the health officials, and everything are saying it's okay to go back into training, and then they're going to evaluate in a few weeks if we can start the league. And I think we've got to trust the health officials. This is their area of expertise, and they're saying that the risk is so low under this controlled environment to actually get the disease, the virus for the players, that the risk is going to be so low. It's going to be nearly impossible to get it then under all those. I mean, you've got to remember this is weeks from now when everyone's going to be controlled, tested in a very controlled environment. It's not like they're going to walk out on the street tomorrow and go on the tube down to Oxford Circus. These guys are in a controlled environment.
Let's see what Steve says here. The FA need to step in and do something to help the lower league clubs to stop them from going out of business. Okay. What you were saying earlier, Sam, you were talking about the lower league clubs having issues. I think they need to find a way to consolidate some sort of TV plan with the Premier League so that the lower clubs can make more money. Because the whole way the FA used to work before was every single tier would do one big consolidation of a TV deal with producers so they can make more money. But now the TV deal is pennies compared to what the Premier League teams make. One Premier League team makes the equivalent to the whole Championship's TV deal almost. That's how bad it is.
It's skewed. It's skewed very badly and skewed.
So
in the wrong way.
agree with Steve. I agree with Steve. Let's just read one more comment here. Paul, first wave isn't gone yet and caused minimal. What? Cause minimal now in Ireland. UK is dropping, but look at the optimism. He's trying to be more optimistic, I guess.
He's saying it's looking optimistic. It's looking good.
Yeah.
Going forwards.
Guys, it was good to see some football going on in Germany, but honestly, right now, no one's being positive. Everyone's being negative. But let's try to talk about some positive things and try to move forward. But I'm going to say one positive thing is at least the players have the power. And when you got guys like Troy Deeney going on Good Morning, whatever it's called, I don't want to bring it up. Yeah, going on that show, he necessarily was talking about the fact that he has a son and his son has breathing issues, and he's worried that if he does go on the training pitch and one of his teammates has it and he contracts it and he brings it home, it could cause his son, who's one of those underlying health issues, way more trouble in the long run than actually him going out to make an income. It doesn't benefit him to make an income if he could lose a family member. And in that perspective, he's right. And for him to be one of the main guys in contact with the Premier League, being one of the flagship guys who speaks to the Premier League, being one of the representatives for Watford and the Players Union, everything he's saying, you cannot dispute it. You can have an opinion on it, but I think everything he said, I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. I think he's right to hold out and not be training. I think he's right to say my son comes first and my family comes first. And anyone who disagrees, I'm sorry. What do you guys?
That is the thing.
Sorry, Nitesh, go ahead. Go ahead, Nitesh.
I just want to make one point. Why don't these FA officials who are sitting in their offices actually go on the ground and be part of the games? I mean, they can maintain social distancing, and if they think that it is actually that safe, they should possibly go to these games with the players as well. If they really think that it is nothing to worry about and it's all safe and everyone is tested, I think these officials who are taking the decision should also be sent to the games. I mean, they should be part of the audience. Maybe they should watch the games. If there's nothing to worry about, because the players are actually feeling some kind of pressure because they have to go and play, and some of them are speaking up against it, some of them aren't speaking up against it. But if the FA officials and such officials who are sitting in their
Yeah.
offices and making these decisions are actually that confident that it's all good and there isn't anything negative or anything wrong that's going to happen, probably they should be going to some of these stadiums and watching the games live.
Well,
Yeah.
there are representatives from the Football Association at every match, but you're not going to get the chief executive of the FA at every football match. He might go to one or two, but he's not going to go to every one. And now in these conditions, he might not unless he gets tested and controlled. Blah blah blah. But there will be officials from the FA involved in each match that will be
Okay, let me
tested.
give you guys. Let me give you guys an ultimatum type option. You either have two options. Okay, after seeing that these players have tested positive, you have two options. One, you isolate them on their own, or two, you isolate the whole entire team. Which ones are you guys picking? Just give me an answer, straightforward. Are you picking isolate the whole entire team or isolate just the one individual?
You have to look at you have to find out who they've been in contact with, and if they've been in contact with other members of the team, you've got to isolate the members who are involved.
Okay.
But the whole team's going to be isolated now. Anyway, they're going to take those people those 6 players who are tested. They're going to be isolated, and then they're going to find out who they've been in contact with. They will also be isolated. But then you've got to remember the whole teams are isolated anyway. They're kept under quarantine in a hotel or some building, and
Not Kyle Walker.
and they're tested every 48 hours under this is a strict, controlled
Okay, so let me
regime.
jump in there. You still didn't give me an answer. Are you isolating the whole entire team? Everyone who's come in contact with them?
They're already isolated. They're already isolated.
No, they're not. Because when you think about it, guys are bringing girls to their house. Guys are getting rape charges while they're in isolation.
But that was before now. Now they're going to go into this controlled environment, aren't they? That's what they're supposed to do anyway. But
Okay,
listen,
guys,
you can't stop everything, can you? You can't stop everything. You can't stop people from being stupid, can you? That's the thing. That's never going to happen, right? So you have to react to that.
I like that. Nitish, I'm going to bring it back to you. You said void the season.
Yeah.
Do you see a way they can push it forward? Can they push the plan forward? Because I'm thinking, given that 6 players have tested positive, the Premier League in their first round of mass testing, do the authorities actually look to push this forward, or can they just see no way to push this forward and just say void it?
See, as I said before, they are just waiting for a fatality. Till there is no fatality, they will keep pushing it. They will keep doing what they are trying to do. And that is about it. They are not bothered because a lot of people have tested positive around the world. Doesn't mean that anything has happened. They have recovered as well. So they are doing a trial and error kind of thing, and they are trying to get the season completed. Because all the clubs have said that we want our players to train, we want the season to restart, because we don't want to lose money. And the players, irrespective of whether they have said yes or no, are eventually going onto the pitch. Now, if a Troy Deeney or maybe a Danny Rose doesn't show up to training, he says, I don't want the money. You keep the money. I am not coming back to train with the team. I don't want to get COVID. I am going to stay back, and I'll come back once the situation is better. I don't think they can do anything about it. They will have to accept and agree to the fact that the players don't want to play. Whether they want to then play with the second tier team or their backup squad, that is up to them. But if the players take a stand, the league can't happen. So the players actually need to speak up, like some of them have, and then they need to convince the team as well that it is not safe. Because what happens is, if suppose the entire team is kept in in a single hotel, or more than one team is kept in a single hotel, if a few players get infected, the entire hotel could be infected within no time. And it is a logical thing that if you guys are living in the same hotel as an infected patient, the entire building has to be quarantined. So how will the league then happen if suppose 1 or 2 players are found infected?
Honestly, you're 100% right. Honestly, we could talk all day about the infections and all these things, but it's just gonna get depressing. And it's like, when you see this image, breaking news, 6 players have tested positive, it just brings it home to you that they're just humans, and at the end of the day, everyone's gonna die eventually.
Okay.
But you gotta protect yourself first.
I want to make 2 points, okay? If I could just make 2 quick points before we move on. Number one, what is the difference between a Premier League player and a normal worker in the UK?
Income.
But I'm talking about when it comes to I mean, a normal worker, you have a boss, and the boss says, okay, now you have to go back to work. The government says it's okay to come back to work. Now you have to come back to work, okay? The government says so. You have to come back to work. So it's the same for football players. If the deciding bodies for the football association, everything, they say it's okay, and they say it's okay to go back to playing football now, the risk is low enough, then that's what they have to do. That is what the employers is telling them they have to do, right? That there's no difference between a football player and a regular employee elsewhere in the UK. Second of all, when it comes to risk of fatality, of course, no one wants a fatality. Of course, that's not what I'm trying to say. But I'm trying to look at things logically here, and I want to ask you, Nitish, okay, my friend, what do you think? What do you think is the chance of a young, really fit Premier League player dying of COVID-19?
See, it's very unpredictable. That is the problem with this disease. What has happened
What do you think is? What do you think is? I'm asking you. What do you think is the chance of that happening? A young, fit player with no underlying conditions, right? They're medically tested all the time as these players, so they would know if they have underlying conditions or not. They have medicals all the time. So if a young, fit player with no underlying medical conditions, you tell me he has a chance of dying of COVID. I mean, of course, there's a chance. There's always a chance. Yeah. But what I mean, I'm talking about the probability here now. That probability must be so low. We're talking about like you can't go out the door then. Yeah, you can't go out the door then because the bus is going to hit you, isn't it? I mean, it's that type of thing, isn't it? I mean, come on, we have to think a little bit logically through these things, not just think, hysteria, horror films,
Sam, let me give you a number first before we move on to Nitish's answer. Out of 748 players, only 6 tested positive. So on the other hand, there's still 742 players to play the league.
Out of all the people that have been tested so far for COVID-19, right? Out of everyone that's been tested, I'm not talking about players, I'm talking about everyone. The amount of young, healthy, fit people, right? And we're not just talking about young and healthy, we're talking about super athletes now, okay? How many young super athletes trained at this level with no underlying conditions, no heart conditions, lung conditions, whatever, how many of those have contracted the virus and died? That number is so low, I'm talking about you can win the lottery 5 times, my friend.
But Sam, I have a counter question to you. Are you ready to actually afford the life of a football player? And is it worth the risk, even if one player dies?
Of course, if you want to be at that, of course not. I don't want to see anybody die. So if it's an absolute no or an absolute yes, then okay, I'm going to say no. But I'm saying there is something here called probability and risk. And at some level, at some time, you have to be logical and say that the risk is so low and the probability is so low that there is no difference between doing this and living your everyday life.
Okay.
No,
right?
I do understand. And I would like to add one more point to that. It's not necessary that the player might be in danger. A family member, like Troy Deeney said, his kid has asthma, right? That is what he said. So
and just like this comment said, 1 second, let me just cut you off there. This comment said Tammy Abraham's dad has is what is that?
Asthma, same.
No. Yeah. What is that? I can't read that.
Well,
Tammy Abraham's dad has
asthma? Is that asthma? Yeah.
Asthma.
He has asthma. So it's like, do you guys think there's so much people living with their family members, or they have very close relationship with their family members?
That's what I want to talk about as well. I mean, I understand that. What I'm saying is this is also talking about normal labour law. There's labour laws involved as well here, right? So, listen, if you're a football player and you have someone in your immediate family that you live with or you're in close contact with who you're worried about, whether it's an old person who's sick, you've got a kid with asthma, you have a partner or a spouse with some kind of underlying condition you're worried about, then of course you're going to say, listen, I don't want to come in and risk it because I have people close to me who I don't want to have a chance of infecting. I understand that perfectly. And if they don't want to play, it's the same as if you go to work and you say to your boss, listen, I can't work now that because of this, because of that, I have to take care of this, I have to do this. I can't work because I have a very good reason not to work. Then your employer is supposed to, take that in and say, okay, I'll let you off for how long you need or whatever, right? That is it. That is labour law. So yeah, it's health and safety and environment for labour law. They have to take that into account. But you got to remember that's not every Premier League player. That's only a handful of players who are in that situation, right? So if those players don't want to play, okay, they don't want to play, fair enough. Then that's what you have a squad for. That's why they're going to have a 28-man or a 30-man squad. Then you have other players who come in, and that's the way it works. It's the same as if you all of a sudden got, you get a few injuries or whatever. You have to replace those with players. You don't stop playing the league because you get a few injuries. You continue with the squad players you have.
Sam,
But
I'm going to stop you there. 1 second, Atish. I'm just going to stop you guys there before we continue. So I've gotten it. One person wants it to continue. One person saying it's not possible to continue. With Natish, he's saying it's not possible to continue. It doesn't make sense. And Sam, you're saying it's a good thing to continue. So let me be arbitrary here, guys. And let me tell you this. If you had a choice, right, personal choice, and you were the one at helm, would you ever consider taking the other opinion and switching opinions for 1 second and saying, I get where Natish is coming from and I get where Sam's coming from? Or is it completely you guys don't understand where each other are coming from? Because that's what I'm trying to...
I understand this, and like I'm saying, if you're going to come down to an absolute yes or an absolute no, if that's your choice, yes, no, sorry, because we can't risk anything, then for me, okay, no. If they cancel the league, I'm okay with that. I'm just saying, in my view...
But they're not, just to let Highbury Gunner know. They're not calling off the Premier League.
No, Highbury Gunner, mate, James, it's what this is about is 6 players they've had the first round of testing now before the training sessions now for the Premier League training camps, and 6 players so far have tested positive. So that's what it is. So we're talking about, the risk of everything and now. But listen, If I'm not against the league being cancelled. That's what I'm saying. If that's what happens, that happens. I'm fine with that. But I am a person. I've worked with health and safety. I've worked with risk analysis. I can see things from a slightly different perspective, and I know that that sometimes you can take a very small risk to get things done, and that will maybe be for the better of a whole business that might potentially die, or a lot of the business might die. I mean, if you're going to lose, quite more than a handful of clubs, you're going to lose quite a few clubs. Football's going to change, isn't it? Maybe for the worse. We don't know. I'm just saying, it affects a lot of people in different ways, doesn't it? But yeah.
Okay, guys in the comments, let us know. Give me your answer. Void/cancel the season, because when you say void, there's no such thing as null and void. If they cancel the season, the stats are going to still be there. The points are still going to be there. Everything is still going to be remembered. Written down, because how are you going to tell Aubameyang his 17 goals don't count towards his career total? That's not going to happen.
No, what they're going to think about cancelling the season is that's exactly what it means. It means they just pretend this season never happened and just start again next season. That's what they're talking about.
Yeah. So everyone who's saying null void does not mean void. It means canceled, and those stats still count. To me, I personally feel sorry for all the people affected by COVID, in addition to the people who were starting up their businesses, doing very well, and this can literally destroy you. And it's like it's very sad. And guys, let's just try to move away from the sad stuff. Natish, do you have anything to say before we move on?
Yes, Sam said that the medical associations have said that they have cleared the FA to start the games off. But then the thing is that if it was such an easy virus to predict and to cure, then they would have already found a solution for it. The next thing also I would like to add is that the virus is actually evolving. If you see, at some point of time when it had started spreading, they had said that no one below an age of 60 will actually have a fatality. But then that has not been the case. And apart from that, they said that it does not spread to kids. But I have a sister who had a 2.5-year-old niece, and she was tested positive for COVID. So many of the assumptions that they had made initially have been proven wrong already. So what good is the assumptions that they're making now that it is safe again coming in? It could change. Yeah.
This is, my friend, you have to understand how probability works, right? I mean, there's a chance you go out tomorrow and you'll get hit by a bus, okay?
Yes,
so
I understand.
So what do? Do you just sit indoors all day? You never go out?
No, but I do understand. But Sam, can you tell me one thing? If suppose there is a fatality, who will take responsibility of the same?
Who will
Guys,
take responsibility? That is the responsibility of the government, and that is the responsibility of the Football Association.
I
If the
think,
Football Association says we can play football based on the government's recommendations, and someone dies, that then is in the hands of the Football Association.
guys,
That's the way it works.
we're lucky these decisions don't come down to us. If they did, we would probably be getting paid a lot of money and we wouldn't be talking to the people right now. So let's talk to the people. Guys, in the comments, let us know what you think. Would you want the season null, void / canceled? Or would you want to push it through and try your best to get the games done and start the next season on time, which is not going to happen anyways, but try to start the next season a little bit later, but still try to start the next season on time and finish this season and get everything, even the Champions League, completed. So let us know what you think. Just before we move on to the next topic, have you guys heard about what has been happening with Bukayo Saka?
Interesting news today, isn't it? Interesting.
Yeah. I'm going to introduce everybody to what's going on. I'm just going to put up this picture here. Let's see if everyone can see it. So Bukayo Saka, Arsenal Football Club, is hinting using their Instagram account that Bukayo Saka is close to signing a new deal. When they post stuff like this, just getting started, and they post a picture of Bukayo Saka, fans and all fans alike and social media accounts are all getting super excited that this could mean there is a new bumper deal for Bukayo Saka, rumored to be coming around. I've heard upwards of 40,000 a week. I've heard between 50,000 a week. I don't know exactly what the figures are. Nothing has been officially released, but stuff like this gets people excited. What do you think, guys?
I'm very excited, of course, and I mean, I think this is a big hint that he's signed. I don't know how long they're going to wait until we get the official news, but this is definitely a big hint that he signed. And when it says they're just getting started, what I think that means is, he's just getting started with Arsenal. He's just starting his career now with Arsenal with his first major contract, and I think it's great news. I mean, this is definitely really good news. That's what I have to say about it.
Nitish?
My first thought when UEFA approved Kroenke's money injection was that they need to now tie down Saka and Aubameyang as quickly as possible. Otherwise, that news is of no point, and Kroenke is just the fraud that we know him to be. So this is the first step that they have taken, positive step. Now, hopefully, this news is followed by the Aubameyang contract extension as well. So it's a good day for Arsenal fans. Finally, we are not losing someone, and we are not selling any other player now.
Exactly, and imagine my dream right now, my wet dream is you get a picture of Aubameyang and Saka sitting next to each other signing the contract, with a big smile. Here we are, we're signing the contract together. How awesome would that be, huh?
I'm trying to get into the shot. Saka's taking my spot.
Sam, it would become a nightmare if Ozil also joins that picture.
If he joins that picture, that's it. I'm out. That's it. Forget it. That's it. Ozil, if he's signing anything, that's it. I'm out.
You guys are funny. Okay, so that's pretty much.
Yeah, I think he's done
We've
with
covered
this time.
A lot about
and
Saka
I had
yesterday.
just randomly asked people on my page that what do you think, guys? Do you think that Ozil can actually get an extension? And my opinion is no, but I guess everyone here agrees to that, right?
Yeah, guys, just to remind you guys, we're running on Facebook on the Arsenal FC fan. What is it? Arsenal FC fan page.
Yeah,
guys,
check that out, guys. Check it out.
Please check out the YouTube channel. Please check out the Facebook channel and subscribe. And remember, Sonny's running a competition where he's going to be giving out a signed Arsenal shirt. He's not going to tell you by who, but it's a signed Arsenal shirt. You can check it out by subscribing to the channel. And maybe screenshotting it or just showing proof that you've subscribed and messaging Sonny on his Twitter account, which is official Sonny1. Let me just put that up. Official Sonny1.
And
I just want to add one thing. You better be in Sonny's good books or he'll give you a Granit Xhaka t-shirt.
There you go.
They give it Granit Xhaka to you. And you got to remember that Arsenal shirt is match worn as well. It's actually been worn by a player in a match. So it's a pretty decent prize, that one. It's not just a shirt you buy in the shop.
There you go. So match worn shirt from Sunny. We'll announce the winner on one of our videos coming up. I think, did he say this weekend or next weekend? I forget.
I'm not sure, but soon.
Guys, try to get us subscribed, because we're right now. What are we at? We're at 1,000. We're at 3,000 plus subscribers. We're trying to get to 4,000 by the end of before football comes back. Let's try to get to at least 4,000 guys. Get us up there, and then if you guys can subscribe, he's gonna pick from the subscribers, and he's gonna give a match worn shirt with the signature, and he's going to give and he also said he might be giving out one of the newer shirts from this season, because he's like, I don't want it no more. Never even wore it. So you guys, I know you guys, doesn't matter. Just when we pick the winner, we'll contact you guys through Twitter. So just make sure you send us the message on Twitter at officialsunny1, showing proof that you've subscribed. Thank you.
We should probably do a video on guessing which shirt it's going to be.
Yeah, what shirt is it? Yeah.
Hey man, it could be any player. Yeah, for all we know, it could be Flemini from like back then.
Flemini, oh my god. Yeah.
If he got it this season and he didn't wear it even once, I think it might be a Lacazette shirt.
You never know.
That'd be nice. That Gazette shirt's a good one, yeah.
Okay, guys. Okay, we got some guys in the comment section. Guys, this is the question and answer moment. Any questions you guys have, ask us, and we're going to answer them as well as we can, and just let us know which person in the group you want to know, you want answering the question. So so let's just summarize what we've talked about. Of course, we've talked about the main event, the breaking news of the 6 players, their COVID results. Is the Premier League coming back, or will they push it through? What's going to happen with the players who've actually contracted the virus, such as these 2 players in the image? I mean, such as Arteta and Callum Hudson-Odoi. Troy Deeney saying he doesn't feel comfortable coming back and playing due to his own family members. And last but not least, Bukayo Saka and the Instagram hint that he has signed a new contract. So the first question of the night, let's see. When will we win the league, Sam? Question mark.
When will we win the league? Well, I'll tell you what. I know the hybrid gamer. I just want to give him a big up. He's a nice lad. He's got his own YouTube channel doing gaming and Arsenal stuff. So go and check that out. His name's James. A really nice guy. Got to know him lately. Listen, I'll tell you what.
Get your questions in, guys.
Arsenal winning the league again, it's not happening soon, is it? I mean, I would be happy if it happened again in my lifetime. I'm 39 years old. God knows how long I'm going to live. Maybe not long, maybe long, I don't know. But it's definitely not happening in my lifetime, mate. I don't think so anyway. But I would love it to happen, of course. But some big changes need to happen, I think, throughout the whole club, both from the ownership level down to the management level and, of course, the players we have. I think we need wholesale changes before we're going to be winning the league. And that's... When's that going to happen? You know, it's a difficult question to ask. Answer, isn't it?
Okay.
Can I add one point here?
Yeah.
We'll win the league within 5 to 10 years after a sheikh takes over the club.
That's the way it's going. That's the way it's going.
Guys, call me crazy. Call me crazy.
Yeah.
We will win within 4 years with Arteta.
Ooh.
Will Arteta last for 4 years?
If Arteta does last 4 years,
that's a big prediction, man.
I guarantee you a title within 4 years.
That's a big prediction.
Because right now we've built a team for the future with Saliba, Guendouzi, Nelson, Saka, Martinelli, William Saliba. I already said William Saliba. What is it? Tierney, Bellerin. Just those guys alone, those seven players. We have a bright future. Unlike some other clubs, when you think about Tottenham, they don't have any youngsters coming through. When you think about Man City, they have a lot of good youngsters actually. When you think about Chelsea, they have a lot of good youngsters. When you think about Liverpool don't have that many good youngsters. They have Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott, but that's pretty much it. The rest of the guys are nobodies. They have
Harry Wilson also. Harry Wilson.
Okay, and then what do you Harry Wilson? Yeah. Harry Wilson, they're going to get rid of him. They're going to sell him.
I don't think so.
They're thinking about only staying where they are right now. They're not thinking about the future. With us, we have the opportunity to build from the ground up.
There's potential there. There's a lot of potential there, definitely.
The players that we have, if we back them, and if 5 substitutions comes out, if there's 5 substitutions going forward, this is just nothing but amazing for the young players because they're going to get more opportunities than they would have ever gotten with 3 subs. Because think about our bench. Our bench is all youngsters.
But for us to win the league, under Arteta 4 years from now, it has to be a season like the one where Leicester won it, because we don't have the bench strength and squad ability to beat a Manchester City or Liverpool.
Not
It's
right
the fact.
now. Not right now. But Manchester City's best players are all old, my friend. In 4 years' time, unless Man City goes and buys Mbappe and Frankie de Jong, Arsenal right now, 4 years' time, looks like a brighter future than the clubs around us. Look at Tottenham. Tottenham doesn't have a bright future. Their players are all getting old. Arsenal has majority of the players are very young. We are the youngest squad in the Premier League.
But you forget two things.
Squad.
Yeah, but you forget 2 things. Man City can always come to Arsenal and buy off some of our best players, and we won't be able to do much about it, as they have done in the past. And the thing is that obviously, if you have to choose between a Pep Guardiola and an Arteta, which manager would you choose?
Do you think Pep is going to be there for 4 more years? I'm sorry. What are you smoking?
I think so.
No, he still hasn't signed a new contract.
He will be there.
I don't think so.
Pep is right now in the phase of his career where he wants a job like a Wenger job. And what better club to be at which can give you 200 million every transfer window? Why will anyone want to leave the Manchester City job?
I'll tell you why. If he's out of the Champions League for 2 years, he's out the door.
Do you think Pep will leave or the club will get rid of him?
I think Pep will leave. Because Pep is the kind of guy, he left Bayern Munich on top of the world. And then the next year, they won the Champions League after he left. So I'm thinking he needs to, or was it before he came? I forget.
Before he came. They didn't win after he left.
My point is this guy, if he leaves, he'll leave on his own accord. He's not the kind of manager to be sacked. And with Barcelona having a head president issue right now, where if you guys know, Barcelona currently is looking to sack their head president and have an election to get a new man in. Yeah. So when the new guy comes in, one guy has said his new manager is going to be Xavi. The other guy said he wants to bring back Pep. So if that happens,
I don't think so. Pep is going back to Barca, because the thing is,
let's not have this argument. Let's not have this argument. Let's talk about this. Granit Xhaka.
Get the questions in.
Granit Xhaka. Everyone, quickly get rid of Xhaka.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry, buddy, but that was a quick answer for you. Let's see who's the next. Let's see the next guy. He's been asking a lot of questions. We got Hybrid Gamer.
He keeps asking me, doesn't he, James? Yeah. No, Leno's a great. I think Leno's a very good goalkeeper. You've got to remember, goalkeepers hit their prime when they hit 30, 31, 32. So he's still got some years to hit his prime, and I think he just needs to get better with his feet. I think with his distribution and with his feet, if he gets a bit better with that, he's gonna really take a step up. But shot stopping, really, really good. A little bit to go on, I think, in the area, coming out, collecting balls, crosses. He's pretty good there. Can do a little bit better there, but shot stopping, really good. Coming out one-on-ones, really good. I think he's our goalkeeper for the next 3, 4, 5 years. I really hope so, because I think he's going to get better. I think he's going to get better. I think he's going to get better.
Nitish Leno, is he a title-winning goalkeeper?
I think in a couple of years or 3 years, he's going to be either bought by some other club or he's going to leave us. That is when he'll get frustrated by the
Bayern. I can see Bayern Munich coming through.
Yeah, when the club will actually frustrate him with the lack of signings and stuff that is happening around. So I think there is a better chance that Martinez might be our number 1 keeper at that point of time, or we may get in a new keeper. That is what I think. And if we are actually thinking about winning the league in this decade, I think it might be Martinez or a new keeper that we will actually have at that point of time.
Okay, guys. I'm going to wrap it up here. This has been a great pod. Quickly talking about the breaking news and everything that's going on. It's good to talk about breaking news sometimes. So we're just going to wrap it up and everyone have yourselves a great day and enjoy the rest of the night. Enjoy the rest of the day, guys. Peace.